We only process almost in India almost 6% of the produce for the processing. And of course, it might be a little old data, but more or less we are there of 6% in the processing, whereas Brazil is 21%, Thailand almost to 30%, and if you go to New Zealand, it is 42%, and then if you go to US and all, it is almost 52 to 53% of the valuation happens in the processing sector. So we are way behind when you try to see and compare with the global arena in this area in terms of food processing. So we have a huge opportunity in terms of we have excess production, and then a lot of food gets wasted because we don't have proper processing infrastructure maybe, or the people are not into it, so that we can full-fledgedly use and then reach the level of US of more than at least 50-55% processing level is one point which we need to consider. Henceforth, there plays a very important role in terms of both private and public sector coming into that. How do we build that infrastructure and see that how we need to have a phased program in that way, that how we increase from 6% and reach to the level of 55% in a phased manner. But then what are the things which are required from both public and private sector, from both industry also, to see that we create value and then take forward, and so that we can reduce the post-service losses, or the losses of overproduction what we have in all the crops or fruits and vegetables what we have, is the first point which I want to mention actually. Then coming to the infrastructure, and then the point where we need to do food processing, another important point which I'll bring in is from the industry perspective, or whatever we look in, whatever technologies we develop, whether for the food processing, they should be of the low cost technologies. That is of prime important in terms of people to get used to them and then make into practical application. It is a very, very important point in terms of how is that we make economical of those processing infrastructure, whatever we develop, or the technologies we develop, because it's very important for the industry to see whatever raw material you produce or the way you process, the cost is very important, because even the customer also needs to see the value in that. Henceforth, they will be there. You might be developing a technology, but if it is not economical for you to viable to adopt, then it will be difficult. So that is the second point which I want to mention. Coming to the aspect of third aspect of what consumers are looking in, of course, Rinka has mentioned some of the trends what people are looking in, and I'll touch upon a couple of points. Like now, consumer wants all of them all natural, without any additives coming out. So it's all, they want all from the natural ingredients which will come into that and then give all the health benefits, whether it can be health, nutrition aspects, wellness aspects. All that needs to be looked in, and it should not have any anti-nutritional factors. It should be high in nutritional factors. So you need to have a processing steps, whether it can be a fermentation step or a germination step or a sprouting step, where you will get all natural ingredients into your product, whether it can be a beverage or a food product or a biscuit or a pasta and noodle. You need to have such steps in that. While processing also, you have minimal losses which will be happening through processing, where your nutrition value is enhanced. It's all natural. I'll repeat once again, all natural without any additives. Yeah. So, and while we are doing that, you also need to have a challenge of taste, texture, sensory, flavor. All that also needs to be looked in. So in addition to that, which is in correlation with that for all natural now, as Rinka mentioned, now people, a lot of them are looking into plant-based food products, basically, which can give you equivalent of protein or that of animal protein, which is also sustainable to use in that way. So this is a major trend which is going upon. So how is that we can replace the nutrition values what you get through non-plant-based products, which equivalent to the plant-based food products, like protein from the pulses or whatever, we can use it as an ingredient which can go into the products or into the food products. But the challenge there is actually there's a lot of opportunity for the research and innovation, whether it can be in industry or academics. Like, how do you get the taste, texture, sensory, flavor, aroma almost equivalent to that of what is there in the non-plant-based? The challenge lies there actually. So there's a huge opportunity for the research and processing industry in terms of how do we meet that requirement, and there's a huge gap there. And of course, people are now coming up, and globally it is growing good, and we have a lot of opportunity in India being more vegetarian, and then how we can replace, and a lot of resources which are available is another point which I want to mention on that.